Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. Saskatchewan is reporting one new case of COVID-19 that is in the Saskatoon zone. 157 cases are considered active. 23 of those are in the region. That includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. 107 of the active cases are in communal living settings. 8 people are in hospital, 4 of those in intensive care. 16 more people have recovered. Another long-term city project is moving forward, with City Council passing the downtown area redevelopment plan bylaw on Monday. Eric Bay has more on what this means for the city's downtown.
The next step for the downtown area redevelopment plan is creating a budget for the project, which administration will begin in time for next year.
And that will be, as you know, the city's preparing the budget for 2021. So now that the DARP is officially accepted as a bylaw, then the city administration will take that and go forward with it to determine what, if any, we can accomplish in 2021 based with the financial challenges that we have.
COVID will impact the timeline for some of the plans within the DARP, with certain costs too high to take on with restricted budgets.
That they're going to be cognizant of the taxpayer, but also looking at sending a message to the community that there is need to move forward with the DARP, even if it might be not as much as one would like, but moving forward. Because without movement forward, we're stalled and we're almost going backwards. So I think that'll be the message to the administration.
Feedback from engagement sessions suggested the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Centre be included in the DARP, but space in the downtown area is a hurdle.
It's challenging trying to blend both of those, and I thought about that. That's a great question. Today we talked about that and said, it's too bad the downtown ended up where it was and not beside the LCSC, because that would have fit the purpose, because we simply can't pick up those X number of acres there and plunk them somewhere else.
The DARP was created to make downtown Lloydminster a gathering hub in the city. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
The nomination call for Lloydminster's civic election doesn't open until September, but that's not stopping one local man from announcing his intention to run. Jace Mackey has more on Daryl Dunn and his run for City Council.
My name is Daryl Dunn, and I'm going to be running for City Council this fall.
With family and friends in attendance to support and sign his nomination forms, Daryl Dunn announced he'll be running for City Council.
I'm in a position now where I have the time and I have the opportunity to get involved with the City Council.
Dunn, who is a former Calgary police officer, has lived in Lloydminster for the past 11 years. He sees a need for stable funding of emergency services.
Policing and EMS services and so on are always going to be an issue. There's the needs that the city has, and that's infrastructure, roadways, simple things like garbage pickups, and emergency services. Emergency services take up a big chunk of the budget, and they're critically important to the community.
Dealing with the financial fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic, the completion of the water treatment plant, integrating health services, and the need to work with the Saskatchewan, Alberta, and federal governments are challenges that Dunn is excited to take on if he's elected in the November election. He also thinks the city needs to plan better for the future.
Forward planning is absolutely essential so you don't get surprises. The water treatment plant, a gun was put to the city's head because it hadn't been dealt with. You can't afford, at $85 million a pop, to make those mistakes.
Individuals that are interested in running for the upcoming civic election have until October 7th to submit a nomination package. Jace Mackey, Primetime Local News.
Lately, there have been lots of conversations, financial phone scams in the communities. Connor Chan has more on what people should be on the lookout for when it comes to keeping their money safe.
Well, I'm joined here today with Patty Wang, the Manager of Loss Prevention and Recovery at Synergy Credit Union. Patty, first off, thank you very much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about fraud lately in the world in general. So what kind of fraud have we been seeing here in our communities?
So today we're seeing a lot of our members getting the calls from Service Canada and CRA, and they're all from local numbers. They're saying that your SIN number has been blocked due to fraudulent activity. So if you do get those calls, hang up. Do not engage with the fraudsters, just hang up. It's okay. If you do get those calls though, we would ask that you write the numbers down and actually report it to the anti-fraud website. And you can Google the information, it's all online. And they actually keep track of the numbers, and they can reach out to your cell phone provider and actually look at blocking different numbers.
Who are the most vulnerable people when it comes to these types of calls or scams that we're getting?
Unfortunately, everybody is vulnerable in these frauds. We're seeing everyone being affected, from the elderly to the young. Unfortunately, we do see a higher rate in the elderly as they have the most funds, and we are seeing teenagers like 18, 19, they seem to be more trusting, and they seem to believe what the fraudsters are saying. So we're just asking everybody to hang up if you get those calls.
What should people do if they feel that their money is at a high risk?
First thing I would do is call your local bank or your credit union and your credit card companies. I would go through all your transactions to make sure everything's legit. If you believe that you're part of a scam or have been scammed, please reach out to the RCMP and let them know, as well as report it to the anti-fraud website. If you believe your identity is stolen, it's very important that you actually reach out to Equifax or TransUnion, and you can get a copy of your credit report. Or if you believe that you've been part of a scam or your friends or close family has, please reach out to the RCMP. If your scam is if you were scammed on Facebook or eBay or Kijiji, reach out to those websites as well. They do have fraud blockers in place.
So how can financial institutions help in situations like this?
So if it's friendly fraud, so you gave out your PIN number, your bank card, your online passwords, unfortunately, there's nothing that any financial institutions can do because you're in breach of your PIN agreement. But if you're been scammed and people have gotten them illegitimately, we can definitely look at refunding your account, but we also can close all your accounts. We can close out all your online banking. We can freeze your account so we can monitor every transactions that's going through. If it was an e-transfer, we can try to retrieve the funds as well.
And lastly, Patty, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I think the thing that we like to say, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. Never ever give out your bank card or your PIN number to anybody. That's in breach of your agreement. Never give out your online banking access code, your username or your password. Never engage the fraudsters, just hang up. And the thing to remember too about this whole CRA scam is that CRA would never call and request money. They actually send out everything by paper mail still. So if you are getting a call from CRA, just hang up.
Well, Patty, I really appreciate your time sharing us some great information on how we can protect ourselves when it comes to our money. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Take a look at our temperatures right now. 30 degrees right now, all clear skies. It's been a gorgeous last couple of days, including into today. It was a fairly warm morning as well, which I found really, really interesting, as we are still in that heat warning. Much of the province, as well as in Saskatchewan, are experiencing a heat warning, which will show that grid in just a second here. But as we take a look at temperatures around our region here, 30 degrees is what the common number that we see around here. So 31 out in Vermilion, St. Paul, Bonnyville, and Edmonton, 29 degrees out in Vegreville, Cold Lake and Lac La Biche sitting at 30 degrees. Well, as we look into Provost, 32 degrees, 34 in Macklin right now, with 31 degrees also out in Maidstone and in North Battleford, and then 32 out in Green Lake and 30 for Meadow Lake and St. Walburg. So here's a look right now at that heat warning. As you can see, pretty much most of this whole map is covered in pink, which indicates that heat warning. Provost and Macklin also in that heat warning, as well as temperatures are exceeding 30 degrees. So make sure you do keep yourselves cool if you are out and about, whether you're working or just out for a walk. So as we take a look right now at overnight North Battleford, Battleford, 15 degrees overnight as we get to 29 degrees tomorrow for them with mostly sun and a bit of cloud coverage there. And heading into Cold Lake, 16 degrees overnight in Cold Lake, and then leading to 27 degrees tomorrow with a little bit more cloud coverage coming in their way for the daytime high there. And then for us here at Lloydminster, we'll get some more cloud coverage throughout the day. So this could be our last day of really clear skies and some heat, as we could possibly see some showers heading into the next couple of days. But 26 degrees tomorrow is our expected daytime high. So here's what we could see over the next 3 days. I did mention some rain that could come Thursday. That is expected Thursday rather, with that 41% chance of some showers there at that high of 25 degrees. We get a little bit cooler as well, as you notice there. Numbers start to decline a little bit there, with Friday being that high of 23 degrees with some cloud coverage continuing on. A little bit cooler also into the morning, just by 1 degree there at 13. That's the first look at your weather forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
The upcoming school year is just around the corner, and with that, international students have began to move. For some students, health and safety concerns are holding up that process. Evan Kenny has more with an international student athlete.
I'm pleased to be joined today by an Edmonton local who is also a Florida International University track and field athlete, Gabby Rains. Gabby, thank you for taking this time and joining me. My first question for you is, with the current scenario in Florida, do you have plans of going back this upcoming season?
My season was canceled the week before my first meet of my senior year. So in the States, you only have 4 years of eligibility. So the NCAA granted me a 5th year of eligibility if I wanted to go back. So I have the option. I'm not going back for the first semester, but I do have the option to go back in January, which is when the second semester is when my track season is. So if things are better, I will go back, but I'm just not really optimistic at this point. Florida is a bit of a disaster right now. So as of right now, I'm just kind of playing it by ear, but I have a feeling that it's not going to happen.
Now, Gabby, where were you when the shutdown happened? Just take me through what happened when you heard about COVID.
I was at my school. We had a meet the next week, and my first meet, my last season of school was starting, and my coach, we had a meeting, and we kind of had like the first couple COVID cases hit Florida, and everyone was just like, nah, we're going to be fine. Like, we have a meet next week, school's still on. Like, my coach was just like, everyone stay focused. And then within the matter of 3 hours that day after my team meeting, my school got put online, and my conference canceled all of our meets, and then the NCAA shut down within the matter of 3 hours. So we were just kind of like in this limbo of like, what's happening? So I had to pack up my whole apartment, find a storage unit, move out my whole apartment, and just kind of like uproot my whole life in the, like, just, it was just super like spontaneous and like out of nowhere. So it was kind of hard. And then when I left, I was like, what if I have to fly back in the next couple weeks? Like, what if they reopen school in the season? And we were all just like super, like, nobody had any clue what was going to happen, what the future looked like. So it was pretty stressful.
Now, Gabby, your 2 events are shot put and discus. How have you been able to train for these during this time? I mean, obviously athletes everywhere have struggled with trying to find different resources. For yourself, your dad is your coach. Has that made it a little bit easier as well?
So I'm really fortunate that I have like a squat rack at home. I have pretty much all of the weights. I have dumbbells. I have cardio machines that I need. So I'm really fortunate in that sense. Like when all the gyms shut down, like all the facilities shut down, I felt so like heartbroken for all these athletes that just don't have those things that they can use at home. So they were really struggling to like work out and train. So I trained full time at home. I did like 2 extra like strength cycles at home. So I actually got in really good training. Like I was in quarantine, so I was just working out a lot. And then it was still snowing once I got home, so I wasn't able to throw, but I had been throwing all year, so I needed a break anyway. So I just trained, like did a lot of strength training and weightlifting. But yeah, I was able to keep training at home, which I'm so fortunate to have been able to do.
And now, Gabby, as well, you have a bronze medal at the U20 Pan American Games, a silver medal at Canadian Nationals, along with a number of other accolades. Now, when you heard that the Tokyo 2020 Olympics were being postponed, how did this affect you? How did you take this?
So for me, I did have a chance to make it this year. I had probably the best training year I've ever had in my life. So I was very hopeful to go this year. I'm still so young. So when it got canceled, I wasn't too worried, because I think that even having another year, if I can train and have another year that I did similar to this past year, I will have an even better chance of making it, and not only making it, but actually being able to compete and do well. So personally for me, I'm not too upset about it. I know for a lot of other athletes, it was really sad, because either it was going to be their last Olympics. So it was heartbreaking and sad, but for me personally, I'm not too upset about it. I think that next year I'll have an even better shot of competing and doing well.
Gabby, I appreciate you taking this time, and we're hoping for the best, that you can get back down to Florida and get back to throwing soon. This was Gabby Rains.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jazz. Take a look at the watches and warnings board once again here. Most of this whole area here covered in pink, and even down in the Provost-Macklin areas, as well as up in Lac-La-Biche, as we are experiencing a fairly severe heat warning as we've experienced over the last couple of days. Temperatures, of course, exceeding 30 degrees. It could just be, or just shy of 30 degrees. We've seen in some places just shy of that at 29. But of course, it's going to drop down for the next couple of days. We are expecting some showers heading into Thursday. So most of Alberta and also in Saskatchewan as well are in that heat warning, as we'll show some numbers here in just a second here. But take a look at Alberta right now, currently in the central areas, 31 in Edmonton and Red Deer, with 28 degrees in Whitecourt and Edson. Jasper and Rocky Mountain House both sitting at 30 degrees, along with Cold Lake and us here in Lloydminster. 34 in Saskatoon right now, with 33 in Prince Albert, and 32 out in Melfort, with 31 degrees in North Battleford. Over in the northern areas right now, it's still fairly warm in areas like La Loche, Buffalo Narrows, and La Ronge, and Flin Flon sitting at 28 degrees. A little bit cooler as we see up in the Stony Rapids and Wollaston Lake areas, sitting there at 17 degrees with 16 out in South End. And then moving over into the northern areas right now, 30 degrees in Slave Lake, 29 for Fort McMurray, 23 in High Level in Fort Chipeway, with 28 degrees in Peace River and 26 in Grand Prairie. Now here's where we see a lot of the heat coming from. A lot of warm areas, Medicine Hat, Calgary, and Lethbridge all sharing that same number at 33 degrees, along with Coronation, and 29 degrees for Banff. And then as we head into southern Saskatchewan, very, very, very warm indeed, as Kindersley's just 4 degrees shy of 40 degrees right now, and 34 for Swift Current, with 35 in Moose Jaw, Regina, and in Estevan. Yorkton sits right now at 33 degrees. So here's what we see across the rest of the country. It's mostly those central regions here, provinces, with like Alberta and Saskatchewan seeing very warm temperatures. Winnipeg, of course, also seeing some warm temperatures at 32 degrees right now. 15 in Quebec City with some showers. 22 degrees out in Toronto right now. 13 in St. John's with rain continuing on there. Halifax at 23 degrees right now with a little bit of sun and cloud mix there. Vancouver, a little bit cloudy at 25 right now. A little bit cooler up north in Yellowknife at 18 with showers, and 14 degrees in Whitehorse. So here's what we could see for tomorrow. A little bit different. We may not be in the heat warning as much as we are today, but 26 degrees will be our daytime high tomorrow for most of the region here, along with Vermilion, Marwayne, and Edmonton as well. Provost also sitting at 29 degrees tomorrow. Macklin at 30, along with North Battleford. Bonnyville sitting at 27 with Cold Lake tomorrow. Lac-La-Biche at 25, along with Vegreville and St. Paul. As I mentioned, 30 in North Battleford as well. So here's a look at the next 7 days. We could see some showers heading into Thursday with that 41% chance there at 25 degrees. We start to go down a little bit, but be on a bit of a decline, for temperatures. 23 on Friday, 24 on Saturday. We should get some clear skies there. But then as we get to Sunday, 20 degrees with cloud coverage there, 16 on Monday, and 19 degrees on Tuesday. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after this.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined once again this week with Becca Lawrence from the Lloydminster and District SPCA. How are you doing this week, Becca?
We're doing really good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. So, I hear there's a rumor going around that you guys have an event coming up. So why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's just a pick your price cat kitten adoption event. So it's just our cats and kittens. And 'cause obviously they're always our highest numbers right now, so we don't really have too many for dogs. So it's just strictly our cats right now. So yeah, so basically it's from the 24th to the 29th, so next week, Monday to Saturday. And yeah, you can come down or go to Pet Value or PetSmart, and you can choose what you want to pay for that animal.
Beautiful. So, how are you guys doing for cats? Obviously, you're having a big cat giveaway, so to speak. So, obviously, your numbers must be up currently, correct?
Yeah, like again, like we're not, like we have a couple kennels here and there, but I mean, we're still quite full, and our waiting list is gradually getting longer and longer. So we do want to try and get those animals that are needing some space in as well. So that's another big reason why we're doing this event again. And yeah, so we're just trying to find our current ones their homes. We have a couple longer time residents, so they need their homes.
Beautiful. So if anybody out there is looking for a cat, you can get one on sale, so to speak, if you so choose. Or if you want, with these pay what you will events, there's always the option to pay a little extra if you want to make a donation to the SPCA while you're at it. And as well, I always like to ask you, how about the dogs? How are your dogs doing these days, Becca?
Yeah, we're really not doing too bad. We finally, kind of found a couple of our harder ones to place. We finally found them some homes, so that was really nice. And so yeah, other than that, we have a couple strays here and there, but majority of them keep getting reclaimed, which is fantastic. But yeah, other than that, we just have the few up on the main floor, and that's it.
Beautiful. Well, that's good to hear. So if you're looking for a dog in the border city, there's a few options at the SPCA for you. And as well, Becca, do you have any special interest animals currently at the SPCA?
We have our two little guinea pigs, Winnie and Pooh. So we think we're going to put them up at PetSmart. So they might have, because they're a bonded pair, so we might put a special price on them anyway. They're not a part of the event, but they will have their special price on since they are a bonded pair and they're both little females. So we're hoping to find them some homes together as well.
Beautiful. Well, that's good to hear. And again, if you need a guinea pig, stop on by. And I always do like to ask, Becca, is there any specific items that you'd be looking for physical item donations? If somebody wanted to do that instead of, write a check or what have you.
Yeah, actually, we are looking currently for rabbit cages. There's a rescue that they're just overrun, and we're trying to help them out. So we're looking at trying to replace some of the ones that we have. They're in some kind of rough shape, but then also be able to get those rabbits in and help them out a little bit as well too. So yeah, we're currently just asking for rabbit cage donations. If you have one that you don't need anymore and you want to bring it down, then definitely let us know, and we can work that out with you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us once again, Becca, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon and hearing how the cat adoption event goes.
Yes, for sure. We're looking forward to it as well.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Manage your waste and recyclables with Quick Pick Waste Disposal. 100% locally owned and proud to serve and support the communities we call home. Quick Pick, the convenient solution to avoid pollution.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm speaking with Glenn Fagnan, the Executive Director for Border City Connect Society. How are you today?
Yes, wonderful, Shelby. Thank you. And you?
I'm very good. With the Rib Fest coming up this weekend, there's been some talk about the food involved that's coming from the U.S. Can you kind of clarify it for people that just don't know what's happening with that?
Yeah, I'm not sure where that came from, but I can tell you that all our ribbers, our 4 rib trucks, they're all Canadian trucks. They're all Canadian citizens, and yeah, we're going to be, serving Canadian pork and beef ribs. So no, it's there's no, that's not a true statement by any means. I'm not sure where that came from. So thanks for clarifying that for us, though.
No, perfect. Thank you for clarifying for it. And has there been any changes in the works for RibFest as it's coming closer for this weekend?
Well, you know, the whole concept is the same. I think our river trucks, they're coming down from Grand Prairie right now. They're going to be setting up tomorrow, and so I think, you know, this is new for them as well. So they learn a little bit more each event that they do, and so there's just been some little tweaks and changes, but you know, everything you know, currently is pretty much on the same plan. Where it's going to be a drive-through. We're going to be, you know, doing the 3 days as the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we are going to be practicing the safe distancing, and all the COVID has been approved by Sask Health. So we're legal on all fronts.
And for residents that still don't know, tickets aren't needed for this event, right? It's free admission.
Actually, there's no tickets for sale. So the admission is all free, and it's just a matter of going in. We'll have some lines set up that will be divided going into the 4 separate river trucks. So yeah, we'll be giving you a menu as soon as you come into the parking lot of the Lloyd X at the entrance, and you'll have a menu, to just a piece of paper there with the different options that are available. And then you, just to speed things up, when you get into the split of the 4 lines, you can decide what line you want to go in, because each of those trucks have distinctively different flavors on their ribs. So they've got their own style and their own sauces. And so yeah, there's 4 distinct ribs and pulled pork, and, you know, all the menu items.
And since we last checked in with you on RibFest, has it been receiving lots of support so far?
Yeah, it has been. You know, we've been getting lots of comments, and as usual, you know, we've had you know, many good sponsors that have stepped up within the city and are helping us out. And yeah, it's you know, we're very pleased with the traction that we seem to be getting, and I think that Mother Nature is going to be cooperating with us this weekend as well. It looks like it's going to be a nice weekend, and we do have something that has changed. We do have some coupons that are going to be available when you go through the lines, and that's going to be on Friday from 2 till 5, and the same on Saturday. So that'll allow people that are perhaps going out to the lake a good option to drop by and pick up some ribs on your way to the lake, and there are some savings there as well. So yeah, it's but everything seems to be on schedule.
Awesome. And do you expect it to be very busy this weekend?
We're hoping that it will be. That's yeah, you know, the last shows that they've been doing, they've been you know, they've gotten very good crowds out. I know that I think in Grand Prairie they did on the 3 days, they were over 3,000 vehicles had gone through there. So we're hoping for that, those kinds of numbers. That would be great to shoot for. I mean, Grand Prairie is a little larger than us, just about twice the size, but yeah, we do have a good surrounding area as well, and we're hoping that people will be coming into town and taking advantage of the event of the summer.
And for residents that just want to know, what would you expect to tell them for wait times for lineups in each of the booths? Well,
I think that they move things really fast. They can serve up to 3 vehicles a minute, each truck. So it's so they when you're pulling in, and there is an area where you place your order, and then you go into that line. So it's they're moving along very quick. Of course, they've got their product is all smoked ahead of time, and they're finishing things off on the barbecue. So yeah, they're very, very high production. Whoa. So there shouldn't be any long waits.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much for joining us today, Glenn, and I'm sure this RibFest is going to be very successful.
Thank you very much, Shelby. Really appreciate it.
All right, taking a look here at your 7-day forecast one last time here. 26 for Wednesday. We could see some showers heading into Thursday. That 41% chance there with that high at 25 degrees. We start to see numbers starting to decline a little bit for our daytime high. 23 on Friday. Then we go back to 24 on Saturday with some clear skies. So lots of cloud coverage expected over that next several days. 20 degrees on Sunday there with some cloud coverage continuing on into Monday with that high of 16 degrees. And then Tuesday, we could see a daytime high of 19, a little bit more sun. There is a possibility of some showers there as we see the 25 and 30% there. For that rain on Thursday, we could possibly see maybe up to 2 to 4 millimeters of rain.
Thanks for joining us for Primetime Local News. Have a great night.